Howdy, howdy. This is Garrick with eXp Realty, and today we're talking about working with buyers. Um, so excited for you guys to be here. It's a brutal buyer seller's market right now, so working with buyers is challenging. And we have a lot of people from different parts of the country today, and that's such a happy mix. I am from the San Francisco Bay Area in California. We have a brutal inferno of a market on the seller side, and there's absolutely multiple offers on the coming from the buyers, and you've got to be prepared and you got to be competitive. So we were talking about putting together a buyer's guide. EXP does have a template for a buyer's guide, and I saw that was really cool today. I think Patricia shared that today. So if you're with EXP, check out the EXP Marketing Center. You can go ahead and update that template. For my business, there's other people creating actual books. So if buyer's guide books. So I created mine. It's online here. So it's letsbuya.house. So you're welcome to join in on this page. You can look online, you can bookmark it, do whatever you want. This is what I'm presenting to my buyers so that they know the process from A to Z. If we're in a super competitive market, you want to go in fully prepared, knowing exactly what's going to happen, the outcome of what's going to happen, and how to respond to as many of those possible outcomes as possible. So that way you're not caught off guard. I've closed already over 150 transactions, and yet I'm still finding ways that I need to educate a buyer, things that they should do, shouldn't do, even now. So it's a constantly learning, and when the market changes, we got to adjust all the time. Okay. So today is pretty high level, and I'm going to go into the whole process A to Z, but we have two other events coming up. One is writing winning offers, and also another one is risk management. So if you want to sign up, I would encourage you to sign up for those two, because I think those are very important in terms of the buying process, especially if you want to be competitive. Okay, so let's buy a house. Okay, obviously get pre-approved. So get your money. And then these are some of the questions that you should be asking the buyers, right? Does it make sense to rent or to buy? Do you need to sell first? Some people are moving cross town, upsizing, downsizing. Do you have a down payment? Then talk to our preferred lenders and do your rate shopping now. And also send me your proof of funds and your pre-approval letter when you get that. And what's your current housing situation? Are you in a month-to-month lease? Are you living at your mom's basement? Are you needing to move out by the end of the month? All those situations. You see these little cameras right here. These are actually videos. So some of you may be following me on social media, and that links to YouTube Shorts. So they're the short form videos, or like TikTok style or Instagram Reels style. You click on them, or actually the buyer would click on them, then they can get a short video and see what I'm talking about. Okay, or an explanation of what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a little bit different from the paper version of the buyer guide. So this is actually interactive and multimedia. Okay. This also, I think, puts myself in front of the buyer early, so they actually know who I am and want to maybe work with me and my team. And because buyers are going to research who you are well before they pick up the phone and call you. So they're going to check you out and see what your resume looks like. They're going to see, are you the type of person they want to work with? So if they're going to research, you better make sure that you're visible and people can find you. So try Googling yourself online and see what other people see. Okay, that's also going to be important. Find your home. So how do we find your home? So let's go like this. I have a couple of short videos. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a house? What's the process like? Single family, townhouse, or condo? What are your must-haves? Why are you moving? What's your price range? All these are going to be important in their decision. I link them to my buyer site so they can start searching. And on this buyer site, there is a registration so that I can track who they are. So I can find out, I can work with them immediately. So if they get to my website, Let's Buy a House, I can eventually find out who they are and then connect with them. Okay. They can also schedule a consultation with myself or one of my team members. If you are so this here is my buyer site. It's a CRM. It connects me with who the buyers are, and also as a search site, so I can send drips. So if you're with EXP provides KV Core, which is the CRM from the company. I happen to be using a different one because it works for myself and my team. Okay. You can hook that into with whatever system you're using. New construction. Educate your buyers that you need to be there with them when they tour new construction, because some of these builders aren't offering referrals if the buyer shows up by themselves without you. So it's very important to let them know, because if you're a buyer, you're thinking, oh, I want to just go take a look. And then they go in and take a look. And then they sign out the reg form and they didn't have your card or didn't meet you yet, or didn't think about it, and or forgot to put your name down. That's it. You're locked out. And that could be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 commission. Okay, so educate your buyer that if they're going to new construction, let them know that you're there to help them in that process too. Even though for the builder, it's a referral, but for you, it's guiding them in the process. Teach them why they need a realtor, how you're going to help them to review the contracts. Okay. A lot of the times it's, oh, I'll just work with whoever, I'll work with a listing agent, and, or I'll pick whoever gives me the biggest discount. And that's difficult because you worked hard to bring this client, or you worked hard to make this connection. So explain to them what you do as a service and that you don't get paid until you close. And that's the nature of this business. Okay. How much does the service cost? It's no money out of your pocket because the seller is sharing the commission with me as the buyer's agent. So you're incentivized to connect with me. Okay. Going to open houses. Are they allowed to go to open houses? I think it's good idea that they go to open house, but if they invite you to come with them and you have the capacity, I think it's a good idea to go, because then that gives you the opportunity to shine and point out things at the house and help them to see things that they don't see. Buyers have big eyes. They love the house, but it's up to us as the realtor to protect them as a buyer's agent for their interests, for things that they might not see. Maybe they didn't see that it was on a fault line. Maybe they didn't see that it's near a creek that could flood. Maybe they didn't see that it was amazing sunset view, but the cliff's falling apart. It's up to us to help them to look through these things. And then also to educate them not to make a request on Zillow or Redfin or any other site for somebody else to show, because they're going to think that the agents on those sites represent the listing agent. And in fact, they're not. Okay. What is your value proposition? Okay. It's going to be very important to have a value proposition. Why should anybody work with you? Aren't you just the same as any other realtor or agent? Can't I just go pick somebody online? Any realtor can open a door, but not all realtors can solve problems, protect clients, and close deals. And I think in today's super competitive market, that's actually very important. You've got the buyer's interests in mind. You understand the contract inside and out, and you understand how to use it. Okay, to protect the client. I share this with the clients too. A typical pre-contract timeline in the San Francisco market, typical new homes are listed on Thursday and Friday. So I tell my buyers to start looking, Thursday, Friday. Tell me what you want to see Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's when the open houses are. That's when most people are shopping. Mondays are disclosures day. So we review the disclosures of the houses that they like. They say, hey, we liked Main Street and Peacock. Okay. So we request the disclosures and inspection reports from Main Street and Peacock. We review it with the client, and then we come up with the numbers, and then we prepare the offer and submit it on Tuesday. This happens to be the schedule or the typical timeline here in the Bay Area. And they do that on purpose so that way we can make sure that the buyer submits their deposit in escrow by Wednesday. And if it doesn't work out, the listing agent can then go to a backup offer and be pending by the week before the next weekend. In some other markets, it's very different. I understand that things go pending within 5 hours, 2 hours, like some ridiculously short time. In the Bay Area, we actually are forcing multiple offers because we artificially set a deadline for the offers. So we say offer deadline is Tuesday. Okay, so if there's 3 offers that come in, they all come in on Tuesday. It's not first come, first serve, because the first offer that comes in may not be the strongest. It's just the first offer. So that's a different strategy that's happening here in the Bay Area, especially on the listing side. So as a buyer's agent, you got to educate the buyer to understand why that happens. Okay. In other markets, they'll take the first offer, and that's okay. And that's just a different regional difference. After the weekend, I say, buyers, tell me which house you like. And I want them to tell you, I like this house. After you tell me the house, then we request from the sellers the reports and disclosures. I understand in different markets that they don't do this disclosure until after the contract. But within the Bay Area, we actually provide the sellers prepare their own reports. They do the due diligence reports for the buyer. Not all of them, but most of them do. And provide the disclosures for the property and any other investigations on the property to encourage a non-contingent offer from the buyer. Okay. So that basically limits the buyer to the 10 minutes that they saw the house at the open house or during the private tour. And they pretty much have to decide the house that they're going to live in for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years from that 10 minutes. It's very scary here. You can, of course, the buyer can, of course, schedule multiple viewings with you prior to the offer date, but it's pretty tight here. Okay. Let's take a look at the reports, disclosures, anything that there is, so the inspections are here. We know exactly what the termite situation is. We understand the roof is old. We understand the electrical needs repairs. We look at all of that. Okay. We look at the neighborhood sales. If you can calculate the trajectory of the price, we know what the house that sold next door cost, and it was sold last month. So that means your house should be such and such. We can predict the appraisal gap. And removing buyer contingencies. This is very serious because now we're talking about the buyer's deposit. So the buyers make a deposit. It is refundable unless they remove their contingencies. And there's 3 typical contingencies: the inspection, the appraisal, and loan contingency. Well, the seller's point of view, they figured the appraisal, you can calculate the price. The loan, you can talk to your lender and get fully underwritten. Those are none of my responsibilities. So it's very important that we prepare the buyer to understand this and do all this stuff, as much of it up front as possible. Not all lenders will do the underwriter approval, though. And the inspections, I know you wanted to save 10 days for yourself, but I provided them for you already, free of cost. What else do you need from me? It's pretty much how the sellers are running the market at the current moment. Tell us your offer price and terms. In today's strong sellers market, overpay today so you don't double overpay on the next house in the neighborhood tomorrow. And I say that because every time the market is rising so fast that the offers that they're making are pretty painful in some cases. And I say, put as best as an offer as you possibly can, and you might have to stretch a little bit. But if the 1.5 price is that price, if that's the number it is today, and that's the number that goes pending, the next house that comes on the market in that same neighborhood will start at 1.5 as the list price, and it'll probably end up 1.55, 1.6. So maybe it sounds painful and silly to offer the higher price today, but it'll be higher tomorrow. In a seller's market, in a buyer's market, it might change. Okay. Let's make an offer. It's absolutely important that agents understand and read their local purchase agreement. And I coach my agents that they should be reading this inside and out. Read it 10 times a day. I mean, well, not 10 times a day, but read it 10 times. Print a copy and bring it to the toilet. Read it. You need to know it. This is the thing that is controlling your whole entire transaction. If you don't know how this contract works, you're in big trouble. Okay, so in the California purchase agreement, it includes timelines, it includes responsibilities, it includes when things have to happen. If you wanted to cancel something, how that has to happen. It's all described in that contract, in that purchase agreement. So if we don't know how it works, some of the other agent that does know is going to run over you. Okay. And it's also very important that the buyers are reading this stuff too, because their name and signatures are on the form. Just because it's DocuSign doesn't mean click, click, done. I think closing costs. I think it's very important that we inform the buyer that there are closing costs. And that could be escrow and title fees. And I think we rely on our lenders to talk to the buyers about this. But sometimes if you're running a tight business, you want to make sure and if you don't know that the lender's talking about it, it's very important that you talk about it. For me, that was just kind of a surprise when I bought my place, and I say, well, I thought when I made the offer 500 that the price of the house was 500. I didn't know I had to come up with another 1% to pay for closing costs. So that was a surprise for me. I did not budget that. Okay. We could also calculate the buyer's estimated closing so they know exactly what they're paying for when they close. Okay. Sign the disclosures, send me your proof of funds, send me your pre-approval letter, and let's write your highest and best offer. There may not be a second chance. The seller could pick the best offer and not give us a call because they love the first offer. It doesn't have to be all cash. It just may be a better offer. Think like a seller. Offer your highest price. The highest price you're able to do. Offer the fastest close. Can you close in 30 days? 21 days, 14 days, 10 days? Highest probability to close. What will make your offer highest probability to close? Okay. And remove as many uncertainties for the seller as possible. Okay. If you show uncertainties to the seller is going to have second thoughts and say, well, why should I pick you? Something that I didn't talk about was make sure your social media is on point too. Your client's social media. Don't be surprised if the seller starts social media searching your buyers and checking them out. And if something comes up, and anyways, that's seller's due diligence. Okay. Think like other buyers. What would another buyer put in? If you had a budget of, 500,000, would you buy in this neighborhood or would you buy elsewhere? Is there anything else that you can buy for that price? And then ultimately, what's the market conditions? Are we in a seller's market, a buyer's market, or a balanced market? Now the exciting part. Dun, dun, dun. So once the offers are submitted, now we wait until we get a seller's due diligence call. This is happening quite often. If the seller feels that you have a good offer, they'll give you a call. They're going to ask you, tell me about your buyer. How long they've been looking? What's going on? Why do they want this house? Have they seen it? Do they know that somebody died here? Do they know that the backyard has a septic tank? Do they know this? Do they know that? They were checking to see if you are solid. They don't want any back on markets. They don't want any cancellations. They don't want anybody change their mind. They want it to be done on day zero. Okay. If we receive the seller's call, let's be ready to make adjustments if we need it. Hey, Patricia, thanks for your offer. We've received 5 offers and yours is not the highest. What do you think you could do? What do you think you could do if you want to be more, if your buyer wants it, do you think you could improve your terms or price? You know, that's the kind of calls that we might get. This is before the seller agent might meet with the client. It could be after. Okay. Be on standby. Have your buyers ready. If we don't hear back from them, oh my goodness, this is terrible. We didn't get it. There's a period of radio silence when that happens because the sellers are usually waiting to, the seller's agent is waiting for the buyer that they've chosen to submit their deposit. And at that time, they'll disclose to the world, we're pending. Because it's most likely a non-contingent offer, which means their deposit's at risk. So now if the buyer cancels, their money is tied up. Okay. So now they're incentivized. It's okay to now disclose. Negotiations in a hot seller's market, don't expect there to be any negotiations. It's going to be one direction. The seller's going to say what they want and the buyers are going to fight for it and see if you can come up. Okay. If we do get a counter offer, let them know what their options are. You can say we're going to our offer stands. You can say we're going to improve our terms or price. You can say, nope, thank you, bye. Okay, now we go into contract timeline. And it's roughly 30 days. Doesn't have to be 30, it could be less. And an aggressive offer, it could be 21, 25, 21, 14 days or 10 days. 10 days is pretty tough. 14 is more common. Okay. But every day there's got to be something going on. And in our market, when we've already done every due diligence up front and done on day zero, it's almost the handoff to the lender. And the lender now runs the deal to make sure that it actually closes. Okay. But at that time, we still are very responsible for maybe showing up at the appraisal and making sure or encouraging that the appraisal comes in at value so that the gap is not so big. Maybe going in, we knew that the appraisal gap was 100,000, but can we encourage it to be less, like say 50,000? Do we know some special information that the appraiser might not know? Do we know that that offer that says pending was actually for this price and they had 15 offers? So strong sign of the strong market. Okay. If none of those things are done, then this is your typical schedule. Get your deposit in, lender orders an appraisal, home inspections, look over disclosures, sign your paperwork, review the appraisal, get your loan approved, get your insurance, get a clear to close, schedule your movers, sign your closing disclosure. That's 3 days before the closing. So you got to sign this. 3 days before the loan papers come, do your final walkthrough, order utilities, set up your mail forwarding, sign the loan documents, and do all this stuff here. Okay. Closing day, get the keys. All right. That's the timeline. Now we go into detail, right? So these are the major milestones. Okay. We got the contract, get all these things done. Don't change your job. Don't go buy big ticket items. Don't buy a car. Don't get your laundry yet. Okay. Don't get a new credit card. Don't rate shop. I had a client wanting to do rate shopping after we got the contract. I said, the buyer's agent called your lender already. So if you rate shop now, the whole thing's going to fall apart because they're knowing that you're not serious. You're going to delay. Okay. Don't have travel plans, or at least let me know. During pandemic, we had one of my buyers leave the country to go see a family member in Italy during the middle of escrow. And when it came down to closing, we had to get a power of attorney to be flown back from Italy to the US. That was a little bit of a logistics had to take care of, but we got it done. But knowing as much as you can up front helps, so we don't have surprises. Your home team, who's involved in the home team? And the buyer doesn't know all this stuff. You have they just think you're working with you. You happen to be the front man. You happen to be the person that they're talking to all the time. But all these other people are involved too in the transaction. And any one of these can give us a headache or help us along with the process. There may be a transaction coordinator. Oh man, I should put broker here too. Okay. Lending team. And the lending team has its own group of people. You got the loan officer, the appraiser, you have an assistant, you have an underwriter, a funder, a closer. You have an inspection team. Okay, a home, pest, roof, and anything else. Escrow officer, a title insurance, or maybe an attorney. If you're in an attorney state. Okay, insurance. You have home insurance. You have a seller and a seller's realtor. So any one of these can either make or break a process too. Look over your contingencies. A contingency is your ticket way out of the contract if there's something wrong. If you remove them before going into contract, then you can't remove them anymore because they're gone. But if you've kept them and you have the ability to keep them, because this allows you time to figure out your inspections, your appraisal, your loan in case something goes wrong. Okay. This is a whole nother class. This is the risk management one. So we'll do that next time. Clear to close. This is a good sign. This is a good sign. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Lender calls you up and say, we have clear to close, sends you a closing disclosure. It's important that the buyer signs their closing disclosure right away, because that means they have to wait 3 days for the loan docs to come out, order utilities, figure out how they want to hold their title, ask them for a review. If they've been having a good time with you, have them start writing that review. And if they've been having a bad time with you, now is a good time to fix it before you find out that you got a 2-star on a review site after the transaction. So now is a good time to fix that. Make sure they're happy with you working with you and that they would be open to referring clients to you in the future. Do your final walkthrough. Check to see that the property is as good as or similar as when you went through it the first time. And if they did any repairs that you asked them for. Okay, this also, let the buyer to do their room measurements. Oh, wow, our king bed doesn't fit here. I guess we'll get a new bed then. Signing day, still during COVID, we are doing mobile notary. Mobile notaries are showing up at the client's house or at a mutual location at a restaurant or something, or on the driveway and signing the documents. Okay, so a lot of people thinking, oh, signing day, does that mean we get the keys? That's the part of you got to explain to the client that no, this is where we get everything ready for the actual closing day. So signing day, you prepare your paperwork, the seller prepares their paperwork, escrow holds everything in the middle. Once all the money is in, and then closing is the day that the documents are recorded at the county, and then they're released to everybody. So everybody switches at that time. The buyer gets the keys, the seller gets the money. Celebrate. Do a celebration with them, show up at deliver the keys to them. Okay, meet at the house, do some celebration thing, yes. Rent back. Well, you can't celebrate at the house if there's a rent back. So in California, sometimes people want to stay in the house because they're looking for their next place, or they needed the cash from their existing sale to buy the next one. So they need to stay 30 days for their new loan to close. Okay. Moving in, before you move in, deal with any fumigation or renovation issues, because it would be terrible to fumigate a house after you've moved in, because then you get all the termite gas all over your stuff. Okay. Moving day. Okay. Celebrate, change your locks. Let them know to change their locks. Let them know about home warranty. Okay. So if something's not working, then they can call home warranty to come fix it. One of the days that I delivered keys, the kitchen sink was clogged. It wasn't clogged when we went there, but you got to think, did somebody maliciously do that? Probably not. The house has been vacant for 30 days. So whatever last usage of the kitchen sink might have had some stuff in the pipes and might not have gotten flushed through. So it might have dried up and just clogged the sink. Okay, things happen. Inform your clients about after their closing, they're going to get letters, refinance letters, scam letters. Pay me 89. Okay, for a detailed property report, send us $89, and they can contact you for that. Okay. Stay in touch with your clients. Do client events. Encourage them to, it's not one and done. You're a client for life. Okay. So that's pretty much our buyer process. And I think, and the next two classes are going to be important, which is the contingency one and then the writing those strong offers. Because there's things that we have, every bit of the process has to be tightened up. But the buyer's got to look at this whole process and be comfortable and know exactly what's happening. Otherwise, they're going to be walking blind. Okay. Open up for questions. Hey, how do we do? What do you do differently in your market? What do you think we can improve? And what did you learn?
I think you did a great job.
Thanks, Donald.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think you did a great job. And, every market's going to be a little different, but, your market. And that was evident that you knew exactly what you do in your market. Every market's different. Our market here, we do things a little bit differently. I'm in the Villages in Florida. We do things a little bit differently, but not that much differently. You went through every step by step, exactly what I look at as well.
Good.
Thank you for this. It's very helpful. Newer agent here, so a lot of the stuff you provided I wasn't aware of.
Good. Mary, you're welcome to bookmark the page, refer to it as you need, and then build your own buyer guide. And then are you working with a mentor at the moment?
No, I am not.
Okay. You're welcome to bug us. Where are you located?
I'm sorry?
What market are you in?
Virginia.
Okay.
Garrick, I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Are you able to provide us a copy of this in the chat?
It's Let's Buy a House.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the right here. That's the actual website. letsbuya.house.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I think somebody was also asking for the video of this in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
When you were presenting.
Okay. It is recorded and I will send out, it'll be an unpublished link on YouTube, but I will be sending it out to the attendee list.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. What are the questions? I didn't think to look at the chat box. Okay. What do we have? Can you get a copy of this checklist? Yes. So this is kind of the checklist, but there's no check boxes. I've been debating that and also debating on restructuring this. So I know that there's a timeline, but I might break it out into all the little pieces instead of just having a summary and then the 5 important days on the contract. Who's KYM? Kim, which document are you referring to?
Just this one right here. So I went onto the website and found
Okay,
it.
good. Okay. What's your markets? Okay, let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and hold on.